Welcome back to the Sage Audio channel. Today we're going to discuss 5 free VST mastering plugins. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample of it. Let's start with the Nova by Tokyo Dawn Labs. Nova is a fantastic dynamic equalizer that you can use to increase the amplitude of your master while simultaneously controlling dynamics. The plugin allows you to control up to 4 bands, each of which can have their settings controlled individually or be set to a wideband or global setting. On the left side of the plugin are low and high pass filters. You probably won't need to use these when you're mastering, but they're there nonetheless. In the middle of the plugin is where you can enable your bands, determine their respective filter types, their Q values, center frequency, gain, threshold, ratio, attack, and release. Now, if you click the WB above the ratio dial, you'll set the ratio, attack, and release to the global setting, which can be accessed by clicking anywhere in the bottom section of the plugin that isn't already a function. In the top window, you can adjust these bands, their amplitude and frequency, as well as control the global gain of all 4 bands with the toggle on the left side. Additionally, you can solo bands, bypass the plugin, and listen to the delta or just the gain reduced signal. In the bottom right, you can turn on gain matching, adjust the level of the dry or unaffected mix, and change the output gain. Additionally, you can resize the plugin. Now, if you're using this plugin for mastering, I'd recommend using the Precise Plus mode, as well as opening up the settings and enabling the highest quality rendering. Let's listen to the plugin being used on a stereo mix and pay particular attention to the transparent nature of the compression.
So come on, let me show you how. So come on, let me show you how.
Number 2 is Airshelf by Bertum Audio. This next plugin is incredibly simple to use, but the functionality is a little more complex than you might think at first. As the name suggests, this plugin creates a high-frequency shelf and can also attenuate high frequencies. The first style's function is pretty simple, which is to amplify the high-frequency range. If we use the Bertum Frequency Analyzer, which is from the same developer and also free if you're interested, we can see the extent to which the boost dial changes the high-frequency spectrum and at which frequency the amplification begins. The tame dial, on the other hand, works as a high-frequency attenuator. It can't be seen from observing the curve since we're using a signal with a constant amplitude to measure, but the tame function is a combination of dynamic equalization and transient shaping. Let's listen to the plugin and pay attention to how the boost dial really brings out the air in a mix.
So come on, let me show you how. So come on, let me show you how.
Number 3 is Fiverr by Analog Obsession. Analog Obsession has been making great analog emulation plugins for years, and their newest plugin is no exception. Fiverr is a 5-band equalizer designed for mastering and other broadband changes. Each curve can be individually bypassed and have its amplitude affected by up to 24 dB. Now, if we use the EQ curve analyzer, we can get a better idea of how the plugin affects the signal. The curves here aren't too terribly complex, but they should work well for smooth changes to the frequency spectrum. Some additional functions include a bypass switch for the entire plugin, a gain compensated drive with which you can add some distortion without increasing the amplitude of the signal, and a level trim. Lastly, if you click on the Analog Obsession logo, you enable 4x oversampling. Let's listen to how the broad changes caused by this EQ change the overall timbre of a stereo mix.
So come on, let me show you how. So come on, let me show you how. It's all the same.
The next plugin we're looking at is Refine by LKJB. Refine is an incredibly unique plugin. Unlike the other ones on this list, it doesn't fit into one category, but instead utilizes multiple forms of processing to create a pleasant effect. When we're using Refine, the signal is broken up into 3 parallel channels. Warm uses a low-pass filter and harmonic generation to increase the perceivability of low frequencies. Space introduces program-dependent expansion or attenuation using a psychoacoustic-centric algorithm that isn't disclosed by the developer. Lastly, Punch utilizes transient shaping to bring transients forward, but with a variable frequency. Unlike a lot of plugins, this one was designed with mastering in mind, so you can use the effect aggressively and you're still not over-processing the signal. Let's take a listen to how the plugin increases low-level information, transient detail, and increases the overall amplitude of the mix.
So come on, let me show you how. So come on, let me show you how. It's all the same.
Last up, we have Free Clip by Ven Audio. This plugin is best if you use it right before the limiting stage of your master. It causes soft knee compression right before the signal hits 0 dB to cause what is called soft clipping. This form of clipping reduces unpleasant sounding harmonics that are caused from hard or brick wall clipping. As a result, you can push the signal louder without causing this unwanted effect. The plugin is pretty comprehensive in its approach to clipping, unlike a lot of other clipper plugins. It lets you cycle between 6 different types of clipping to find one that sounds the best for the material that you're mastering. Additionally, you can alter the input gain, the clip ceiling or when clipping begins, and the output. Lastly, overclipping is at the bottom and it's really useful when you're introducing clipping. By increasing oversampling, you're making quantization more accurate, in turn, reducing any unwanted peaks or overs that are being caused when you're pushing the signal. The routing of this oversampling can be changed between 3 settings as well. Let's listen to the signal being driven into a limiter and use Free Clip before it to observe how clipping helps.
So come on, let me show you how. So come on, let me show you how. It's all the same.
If you know of some great free mastering plugins, let us know about it in the comment section below. Also, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Lastly, if you have a mix that you want to hear mastered, send it to us at sageaudio.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.